Alright, let's go into the game. This time spawning in the top left position from Team Alternate Attacks. It is the German Zerg player, Lambo.
And his opponent, the reigning champion of the DSCL Open, the Dutch player from Team Fnatic, spawning at the top right hand side with a little bit of lag. Which name it says Belnoir. Give it up for Harstem. He's once again doing it. He's going to the beat.
Yeah, exactly. For those who don't know, I mean, most of the Dutch people certainly know, but for those who are watching first time or don't know a lot about the StarCraft scene, Harstem is one of those guys that always plugs his music playlist in his headphones and he's dancing to the beat. Whether he's playing ladder, whether he's competing in WCS, he is always moving his head around, reciting the lyrics, singing in his head. Yawning as well. So let us see. I'm kind of expecting a Nexus first on this map as well. Harstem is very fond of that opening.
Well, he's done it twice against Lambo so far, and I don't see Lambo that often in his play really abuse early like a tempo or 6-pool. I don't think I've ever seen him do that actually. So it's a pretty safe map and build to do against Lambo. I do feel like, especially on this map, a 4-player map, it should be fine.
I do suspect Lambo will be going for the same opening he did last game around, the 3 hatch before pool. The question is, will he be taking a gas before he builds the pool, or will he go pool before the gases? If he wants to be extra greedy, he can, and if he expects Harstem to go with the Nexus first, he might try to go hatch, gas, pool for that early speed and then pull out the drones, drone a little bit and then resaturate the gas and get a lair going for himself. We'll see.
I think on this map I've seen a few games from Harstem. This is definitely a map where a Zerg player can once again make a little bit of a Roach Hydra composition and make it work. But I think I've seen Harstem in multiple occasions on this map go for air. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that. I think he opens with Phoenixes, right? Starts controlling the map and then goes into a little bit of a more late game. I've seen that during the qualifications from him. So that's my expectation.
Yes, that's one of Harstem's favorite openings in ZVP. I've also seen him on this map go with gateway pressure against the third base, against just such this build, and then into double Stargate actually, or a single Stargate, and taking a very, very fast third base and go straight into Archons. Just Phoenixes into Archons, a lot of Zealots with charge, and good upgrades for his ground units. So we'll have to see. So far on Lambo's side of things, no gas being taken just yet. Plays it very safe, goes for the pool after the third hatchery. Harstem not really scouting out his opponent just yet. I don't think. Let us check his vision here. No, he only just now is going to find out Lambo's position.
But it doesn't really matter, of course, because he will see what Lambo did, and he hasn't really queued up any sort of super early aggression. Lambo on the other side did fly a Overlord through the base, so he knows what's going on, and it's up to Harstem to surprise us with the Protoss strategy of choice.
And I think he saw the Zealot popping out of the gateway as well.
He did.
So a slight bit of pressure here coming out of
Harstem.
And a Stargate. And a Stargate, that's the important bit. So he's probably going to try and pressure, maybe pressure the front, or maybe the Zealot is just a security Zealot in case Zerglings come. Well, I do have a unit out, that sort of thing. And well, this is good play by Harstem. He can stay holed up in those 2 bases for the longest amount of time. He only needs 1 force field to block the entrance ramp entirely. So not really a big deal for Protosses. And let's see what's going to come out of that Stargate.
Lambo did, however, follow the probe, and he did position the Zergling outside of the base of Harstem, so he knows right now that there's probably no more probe on the map, so he must feel a little bit secure, and he wants to see that Stargate. But did he see that Stargate?
Yes, he did see the Stargate, and he did see the Oracle. He did see the Oracle as well. So he knows what he has to prepare for. And immediately we can see 3 Spore Crawlers at every one of the bases going down. The Queens are there as well. He needs to position those on top of the Spores on hold position in the ideal situation. But since this is an Oracle, if he saw the Oracle, he doesn't have to necessarily do it because the Queen is not going to be lifted up.
Yes, and the Oracle is going to move out, but I don't think he's going to do that much damage with this, because there's a Spore Crawler everywhere, there's Queens in positions, of course, for injecting, and I mean, the Oracle can be useful for the Revelation and maybe picking off a transferring worker here and there, but it's not going to do the damage that Harstem would have liked.
Yeah, I don't think with good drone pulling against the Oracle, this is not going to do too much. Here comes the Oracle. The Queen immediately is onto it. Oracle cowardly backs away. And there we have the Robo facility almost done. Third base coming up, and I think Harstem will go very quickly into that. Wow, he's actually going straight up into Colossus. He thinks he forced enough of a reaction out of his opponent. Do you think that, well, he's certainly going to go Hydralisks now, so let me skip all the gateways.
He's actually making a Void Ray. That surprises me a little bit here. I don't know what his plan is for that Void Ray.
Maybe he wants to go for the Void Ray Colossus composition. That is really potent.
Could be it.
But
he is going for 3 bases.
Yeah, he is, of course. Before any additional gateways, so he's going to favor tech and economy to his army size. That is really nice. So he's going to be shooting for a later, stronger composition with a powerful push. The problem will be, I think, for him, survive the mid-game. When Lambo finds out what's going on, in fact, I think he's just about to scout the third base. When he sees that, I think he's going to start being a nuisance for Harstem in the very least. Actually, he's taking a fourth base as well.
Yep, well, he did see the Void Ray, that's for sure, because it killed an Overlord, but I don't. Does he know about the Colossus as well?
I don't think so. I don't think he knows about that one.
Because when he sees that, he must be knowing, well, my opponent is just making everything. But the fourth base is definitely a good reaction to that. There's a lot of Zerglings on the way as well. I don't know what he's going to do with that. And a Spire. That's a good call.
Yeah, maybe Lambo will be looking for a later... well, it can be for two things. Either he's going to use it for Corruptors, which I'm not too sure about, because at the same time we also have a Hydralisk tank coming down. Or he can use it later on in the game, after a couple of exchanges. We mentioned this already, the Mutalisk switches that Lambo is very fond of in the later stages of the game. Just trade, wait until there's almost no anti-air, and then make a huge Mutalisk switch towards the end. But you have to get there somehow. Yeah,
you need to do a lot of damage, or at least have a lot of cash on the background of it. But I don't feel like the Roach Hydra are going to do that much against a huge clump of Colossus. That is possible, but he is making the first Hydras. He's getting the Roach upgrades as well. He's adding on, of course, more gas on his new base, and with 4 base economy, he should be able to make a decent amount of army. But
whoa,
is it gonna break the army of Harstem? He's actually adding 2 Stargates here.
Exactly, that's what I noticed just now. 2 additional Stargates. So Harstem is going for a really strong air composition backed up by Colossus in case there are Hydralisks. You know, with enough Void Rays, if you just mass produce Void Rays, it only takes a couple of Colossi to kill enough Hydras so that the rest can be killed off by Void Rays, actually.
That's true. And it does look like Corruptors and Hydras are coming on the field. And I think that's a good composition, actually, because Corruptors are decent against Void Rays.
Well, I would say they're shit, but...
Well, I mean, they're better against Void Rays than I think Roaches are.
Yeah, Roaches don't shoot up. That's a good point. I mean, yeah, Corruptors, that's a decent unit, but you know, it's versus mass Void Rays. I think the best composition would be Queens, Infestors, Hydralisks, something to that effect.
But of course, if the Corruptors kill the Colossus, then the rest of the army can deal with that.
Of course,
that's perfect.
I think that's the point here. Wonder how many Corruptors he'll be making. I would wager 12, 14 should be enough to bring down a couple of Colossus. But at the same time, the longer this game will go on, the better the composition and the more the advantage Harstem will be having.
He's adding 3 Void Rays at a time. If he doesn't start pushing pretty soon, Lambo, then he needs to think about adding Infestors to the mix, because that's going to be a really annoying army to fight against with that amount of Void Rays. But it looks like he's moving across the map. I don't know if he has the intention to attack, but it does look like it, Bell. This could be a little bit dicey for Harstem here.
I think he is going to try to attack now. Harstem has seen this with the Oracle overhead.
There's not that many Hydras, though.
Yeah, there's 13 Hydralisks versus 3 Colossi. Those Hydralisks are going to die very, very fast unless those 13 Corruptors have something to say about this. Harstem is regrouping, prematurely triggering the Photon Overcharge, I think. Yes, he is.
Here we go! And here we go. The Corruptors are killing the first Colossus really quickly, and right now they're targeting down the second Colossus. He knows that is the danger right now. A lot of the Corruptors did go down against the Void Rays, but now it's up to the force fields to hold them back. But I think that was an okay trade for Lambo. 2 Colossus.
Yeah, I think getting 2 Colossus for a couple of, well, 6 Corruptors in this situation, that's fine. Harstem is backed into a corner. Actually, Lambo can split up his army right now and at least take out the Nexus or Gateways with the left flank while the right flank is battling the army. But this is not looking to be a good trade for Lambo so far. A lot of Roaches and Hydras have gone down, and well, this wasn't such a good idea after all by Lambo. If we take a look at the supplies...
Well, the supplies are giving a little bit of a wrong edge here, because there are still a lot of Roaches on the map, and he's actually reinforcing with Zerglings, because he made Zerglings to reinforce the attack, but the Zerglings aren't going to be that great against his army.
No, they're not. We have Colossi on the field, so pretty much Hydralisks, Zerglings, they're going to be dying really quickly. Roaches are not going to be helping all that much. You can't walk up with them into the main base, nor the natural, because the natural is part of the main base, so the only point of attack you have available to you as a Zerg player is the third, and the third is going to be defended all the time. You have to split up your army, coming from 2 angles. It's not an easy attack to make. Harstem knows this, and if we take a look at the number of Void Rays, there's, holy whooping cow, 10 Void Rays on the field. That's quite a lot.
Yep, and it looks like Lambo's once again making a good surround with his army, but he just does not have the army composition to really battle this. The Colossus are going to be key. They are not really targeting the Hydras. They're doing a good job now. A lot of the Hydras melt, and there's not going to be enough to deal with this guy.
Oh my god, no anti-air remaining here for Lambo. The Roaches are getting pummeled here. And still with 3 Colossi on the field, Lambo just made 2 or 3 very bad exchanges in a row very quickly, and I don't know if he can continue doing this. I mean, if we take a look at his gas... Oh, there it is, the Mutalisk switch. I don't know if 10 Mutalisks is going to be enough, however, Odin. I doubt it.
I doubt it. I would like to think so, but it's 30 Mutas now, but they're going to come out in pairs, and I mean, the Void Rays are not that good against the Mutas, but you can already see that Harstem expects this. He's adding 3 Phoenixes right now, and that's going to be exactly what he needs. If he can get up to 6 Phoenixes, he should be fine, because it's not a huge clump of Mutalisks.
Yeah, it is not. I love the fact that both players are taking additional bases at the same time. The Mutalisks seem to be poised to strike at the natural, while the ground army is going to try to delay this 4th from coming up. It's a little bit of a bad place to attack, because there is no escape for the ground units to the south, because there are rocks. But there goes the cancel, and these Roaches are pretty much dead. So Lambo will try to exchange to the best of his abilities. Meanwhile, the Mules try to harass the natural, but there are the Phoenixes. The fleet beacon is almost done, so the micro by Harstem will have to be excellent until Anion Pulse Crystals are completed. But he should have enough Phoenixes to defeat those Mutalisks in the air. 6th base coming up for Lambo right now. It's being queued up. I think he's looking for a base trade situation in the late game right now. He knows he cannot beat Harstem's army straight up, because he's got the answer to everything.
Yep, and it's always a sad time when you're switching to Mutalisk, you fly in and there's Phoenixes there. That's like the worst moment for a Zerg. It looks like Corruptors and Zerglings are going to be the choice here, and they're both fast units. They could be for a base trade scenario, like you said. There is a 5th and a 6th base on the map right now for Lambo, if I'm correct. Yep. So he is still trying to get expansions everywhere, but look on the upgrades, look on the units. It's going to be a very deadly army from Harstem.
Yeah, now that I think about it, the 6th base is probably just for the gases. If you take a look at the resources of Lambo, every time he uses up his larva, his gas drops down to 0, but he still has a couple of minerals left over. So basically he's building a very gas-intensive composition here. The problem is that if we take a look at the resources lost, it's 15,000 to 7.8. That's a very bad position for Lambo to be in. As long as he has those bases, however, it's fine for him. But the moment he starts losing that gas income, it's going to be very bad. Nice pickup here in the middle of the map, picks up some sentries. That was a good trade by all means. I'll take that any day.
Yep, a lot of sentries go down for just a few Zerglings, and the Zerglings are not going to be that much of a threat for Harstem either way. It looks like on the top side of the map there's also a little bit of a skirmish between the air forces between the 2 players, or some zealots running by. They're being cleaned up, and Harstem's cleaning up the small army from Lambo on the other side. And these Phoenixes doing a lot of damage here. They need to stay behind the Corruptors, but this is so annoying for Zerg.
Yeah, this is very annoying, and even though it is true that Phoenixes can outrange or do outrange Corruptors by 1 hex, it still takes a lot of skill to make it work versus Corruptor battles. If we take a look at this, 18 Mutalisks in the air, backed up by 21 Corruptors versus 9 Phoenixes. And, well, Do you see the Void Rays anywhere? I do. 8 Void Rays.
There we go.
That's
And
about it.
Harstem's being as annoying as ever with all the zealots on all places in the map, and he's taking down all of the extra bases that Lambo really wants to mine from, and he's doing a good job shutting Lambo down left and right. He's coming from every angle, and he's slowly but surely breaking apart this German Zerg.
Yeah, I think so. One base falls. I wonder if the top one will fall as well. Looks like it. The Zerglings are coming in, but not quickly enough. They also only have 2 upgrades, and it doesn't look like Lambo is going to be upgrading them any further, so they're not as efficient. And look at this, Harstem even adding on a Dark Shrine, and Lambo, I think base trade is his only option at this point in time, because losing 2 bases like this, that, I mean, ouch, that hurts. That hurts a lot.
But I'm actually, I don't think that the air army from Lambo could defeat the air army from Harstem.
Exactly.
If he stays over photon cannons, especially, it's not going to happen. But the Void Rays just shred the Corruptors.
Well, you know what? But right now there is 31 Corruptors for Lambo, so he could actually kill off these Void Rays.
He's doing it. He's actually making it work, and the Phoenixes are backing off. They killed some Mutas, but this is going a lot better for Lambo than we expected.
Yeah, it is. The only problem for him is that right now, after those Corruptors kill the Colossi, they're pretty much useless. I mean, think about it. He's got almost 30 Corruptors versus what, less than 10 Phoenixes?
Yes.
And almost no ground army. And Harstem is switching it up and going back into Immortals and Archons. He's getting Blink, so he's transitioning into a ground force again. And Lambo has to find some way of trading the supply in those Corruptors for something else.
Every time Lambo loses a base, there's always like the Zealots slashing the hatchery and 3 or 4 Mutas trying to desperately to defend, but always failing. And Lambo's actually back on 3 bases right now. And with the army of Corruptors, sure, he can corrupt and kill the Phoenixes, but if they can catch him. But this
I
is
would
bad.
say he's down on 2 bases because the main is mined out, and the natural is, well, there's 1 patch remaining, I think. Not a lot of mining coming in for Lambo. We can see
the Archons!
Oh, huge splash damage going off onto the Corruptors. And the Mutalisks, the Corruptors are trying to screen the Mutalisks and save them from the splash damage, trying to mitigate the attack of the Archons. Good splits, however, coming out of Lambo. Nice army control with the Corruptors fighting the Phoenixes and the Mutalisks magic boxing over the Archons. The Temple Archives will be going down. He can actually get this 3rd base if he continues this attack. Things are suddenly going very, very well for Lambo, at least in terms of battles.
He's actually doing an amazing job for like the last 7 minutes battle-wise, but he has lost all of his bases, so he has to make it happen right here, right now, Bell, because look on the minimap, Harstem is still on 5 bases. He needs to start killing the bases Harstem's mining from, because else, eventually, he will lose this battle.
Yeah, definitely. I have to agree with that. The problem is that he cannot afford to make any units, Lambo. He has to take another hatchery, but he just made a round of units. He's continuing to make Mutalisks. I think he feels like this is his only option right now.
Yep, it's do or die time for Lambo right now. There are some Archons on the way, but apart from that, I don't see that much on the production depth from Harstem. And he's got a lot of money. He's got 1,000 minerals and 500 gas, so he could make some units. All he needs to do is kill the Mutas, and he's fine.
And the Mutalisk count is dropping very, very slowly here. However, Lambo still has approximately 12 of them. Harstem mass warping and Stalkers plus 3 attack. GG, well played by Lambo.